You are out here spending $15,000 to $20,000 on a brand new motorcycle. The digital dash glitches in week 2. The electronic suspension throws a fault code on a Tuesday, and the resale value falls off a cliff the second you ride it off the lot. Now here's the part nobody tells you. Some of the biggest, fastest, most overbuilt motorcycles ever made, every single one displacing over 999cc, are sitting on the used market right now for pocket change. And these are not tiny commuters that are cheap because they are small and slow. These are massive liter-plus machines, hyperbikes making over 150 horsepower, torque monster V-twin-S continent-crushing tours, 18 of them, everyone over 999 cubic centimeters, all dirt cheap. Let us get into it. Number 18. Honda CBR1300XX Super Blackbird. We are starting with a casualty of the 1990s top speed wars. Back in 1996, Honda needed to dethrone Kawasaki for the title of the fastest production motorcycle on Earth. Their answer was the Super Blackbird. It held that crown until the Hayabusa showed up and ruined the party. Nobody buys them today because they are considered too heavy and too long compared to modern liter bikes. That is exactly why you should buy one. The engine is a 1,137 cubic centimeter, liquid-cooled inline-4, making 164 horsepower and 91 pound-feet of torque. It weighs 559 pounds wet, stickered new at approximately $11,499, and you can pick one up used right now for $3,000 to $4,500. Honda built twin gear-driven balancer shafts inside the engine. This means the motor cancels out secondary vibrations internally, making it so ridiculously smooth that it does not shake itself apart even at 150 miles per hour. The internal components are massively overbuilt. The only known weak point is the cam chain tensioner. Cheap, $50 plug-and-play fix. Find one with fuel injection from $1999 onwards, and you have a 100,000-mile engine sitting right there for $4,000. Worth noting that the fuel-injected version dropped to 152 horsepower due to stricter emissions and a revised airbox, though it gained a smoother power delivery and better overall reliability in real-world conditions. The ergonomics are pure sport touring. You are leaning forward, but the clip-ons are raised higher than a pure super sport. The seat is incredibly plush. Wind protection is top tier. 500-mile days feel like a Sunday drive. The Blackbird was built to break aerodynamic records on the highway. Our next bike was built for pure, unadulterated street brawling on a strict budget, and it costs even less. Number 17. Suzuki Bandit 1200. This is the parts bin masterpiece. Suzuki wanted to build a muscle bike in the late 90s, but did not want to spend millions on research and development. So they walked into their own warehouse, grabbed the legendary engine from the GSX1100, bumped the displacement, tuned it for low-end torque, and threw it into a simple tubular steel frame. Nobody buys them today because they run on carburetors, and that word scares off modern riders like a ghost. The engine is a 1,157 cubic centimeter air and oil-cooled inline-4, pushing 98 horsepower and 68 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 515 pounds. The original MSRP was approximately $7,399, and the used market is currently asking $2,000 to $3,500. This bike uses the SACS system, Suzuki ADV Advanced Cooling System. No radiator, no coolant hoses, no water pump to fail. Instead, a massive oil cooler and high-pressure oil jets spray the underside of the pistons directly. Without a cooling system to develop opinions about failing, this engine is practically immortal. Stunt riders have abused these motors for decades, and they simply refuse to die. The ergonomics are classic upright standard. Wide handlebars give you immense leverage. The seat is a wide, flat bench. Your legs sit at a relaxed 90-degree angle. It is a hooligan bike that you can actually commute on without arriving in a full body cast. If the Bandit is a raw street fighting brawler, our next motorcycle is the sophisticated European cousin that's somehow depreciated even faster and offers triple the character for the same money. Number 16. Triumph Sprint ST1050. The British motorcycle industry made a massive comeback in the 2000s, and the Sprint ST1050 was their weapon to fight the Honda VFR. It had a stunning underseat, triple exhaust, and a beautiful single-sided swing arm. It looked like it should cost $30,000. Today, nobody buys them. The used market is terrified of older British electronics, leaving these gorgeous sport tourers sitting on Craigslist for practically nothing. Under the bodywork sits a 1,050 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled inline triple, producing 125 horsepower and 77 pound-feet of torque. The wet weight is 535 pounds. It launched at approximately $10,500 new, and the used market is now offering them for $2,500 to $4,000. Let us clear up the rumors. The 1050 triple engine is one of the best power plants Triumph ever built. It delivers the low-end grunt of a V-twin and the high-revving scream of an inline-4 simultaneously. The engine block itself is flawless. The stator can fail. That is the reason these are cheap. However, upgrading to an aftermarket MOSFET rectifier completely solves the issue in an afternoon. After that, you have an exotic, characterful machine with zero excuses left for being this affordable. The ergonomics hit the absolute sweet spot of sport touring. Seat height is 31.7 inches. You are leaned into the wind at highway speeds, taking weight off your lower back. The sculpted tank locks your knees in perfectly during aggressive cornering. But what if you want something even bigger? Something that can carry you, your passenger, and a week of luggage across the country without a single complaint. Before we go any further, hit that like button right now. It costs you nothing and it tells us to keep making content exactly like this. Number 15, Yamaha FJR1300. When Yamaha introduced the FJR1300 in the early 2000s, it redefined what a touring bike could be. Fast, well-handling, sharp-looking. Today, younger riders completely ignore it and write it off as an old man's bike. Depreciation has hit this absolute masterpiece like a freight train. The motor is a 1,298 cubic centimeter, liquid-cooled inline-4, making 141 horsepower and 99 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight sits at 644 pounds. The original sticker was approximately $11,499, and used examples are selling for $3,000 to $5,000 right now. There is a reason police forces across Europe adopted the FJR1300 as their pursuit motorcycle. It is shaft-driven, no chain to clean, adjust, or replace. You change the final drive oil every 10,000 miles and keep riding. The engine is so under stress that finding examples with 150,000 miles on the original block is completely normal. Think about what that means. Police use sustained high-speed operation, multiple riders across multiple shifts, still routinely hitting 150,000 miles. That is not reliability. That is something beyond reliability. That is stubbornness in mechanical form. The ergonomics are pure luxury. You sit entirely upright. The seat is a massive plush saddle. Best of all, it features an electronically adjustable windshield that you raise or lower with a button on the handlebar to eliminate wind buffeting completely. At highway speeds, you feel like you are sitting in a very fast armchair. Yamaha is not the only one making highway missiles. Kawasaki wanted in on the action, and instead of bringing a scalpel to the fight, they brought an absolute sledgehammer. Number 14, Kawasaki Concours 14. In 2008, Kawasaki looked at their terrifyingly fast ZR14 hyperbike and said, "Let us put hard luggage on it." The Concours 14 was born, a touring bike with the heart of a drag racer. Buyers today avoid it because the massive plastic fairings and sheer size make it look incredibly intimidating to maneuver in a parking lot. Their loss, your gain. Powering it is a 1,352 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled inline-4, cranking out 156 horsepower and a flat 100 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 688 pounds. The original price was approximately $13,499, and you can find them used today for $4,000 to $5,500. Kawasaki used variable valve timing on this engine. It ADV answers the camshaft timing at lower RPMs for massive torque and retards it at high RPMs for screaming top-end power. To handle the shaft drive torque, they invented the tetra lever system specifically to eliminate shaft jacking, which is when the rear suspension rises violently under hard acceleration. This machine is mechanically dense but profoundly reliable. The seat height sits at 32.1 inches. It carries its weight high, but once you get above 10 miles per hour, the weight vanishes. Bar reach is relaxed. Legroom is expansive. It is a commanding motorcycle. And here's the thing nobody talks about. Because buyers are scared of the size, these things sit on the market for months. You have genuine negotiating power. People are practically paying you to take them. A 156 horsepower touring machine for under $5,000 is genuinely one of the best value propositions in motorcycling today. Cross-country touring is great, but what if you just want to cruise around town and sound like genuine American muscle, but with strictly Japanese reliability underneath? Number 13. Yamaha V-Star 1100. Also known as the Dragstar in Europe, this metric cruiser was Yamaha's answer to Harley-Davidson dominance in the early 2000s. Today, nobody buys them because the cruiser market is obsessed with engines over 1500 cc, leaving this measly 1100 completely unloved. The heart of it is a 1,063 cubic centimeter air-cooled V-twin, making 62 horsepower and 63 pound-feet of torque. It weighs 634 pounds wet, stickered new at approximately $8,599, and currently sells used for $2,000 to $3,500. This is an evolution of the legendary Virago engine. Air-cooled, meaning no radiators to leak. Shaft-driven, meaning no chains or belts to snap or replace. The early models had a known issue with the starter clutch failing, but the aftermarket solved that a decade ago with an upgraded heavy-duty Sprag clutch. Install that, and the engine will essentially outlive the frame. The seat height is a ridiculously low 27.9 inches. Flat footing at red lights is not just possible, it is effortless. Forward floorboards let you stretch your legs out. Wide pullback bars drop perfectly into your hands. Classic, low-slung cruiser comfort that does not need to apologize to anyone. And because it is shaft-driven, you will never have a chain snap on you at speed. You will never forget to lube the chain before a long ride. You will never have black chain grease flung all over your right leg. For a cruiser used mostly in the city and on weekend runs, shaft drive is the right choice, and this bike gives it to you at a used price that makes absolutely no sense. Maybe 1,100 cubic centimeters is not quite big enough for your ego though. How about almost 1,500 cubic centimeters of pure V-twin torque for less than the price of a decent laptop? Number 12. Kawasaki Vulcan 1500. Back in the late 90s, Kawasaki released the Vulcan 1500 Classic. It was massive, it was loud, it looked the part. Today, riders pass on it because it lacks modern fuel injection and flashy digital gauges. And it is undeniably heavy. That is exactly why it is going for basically nothing on the used market right now. The motor is a 1,470 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V-twin, producing 64 horsepower and 84 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 659 pounds. The original asking price was approximately $10,000, and the used market currently has them for $2,000 to $3,500. Here is the mechanical secret that makes this bike a genuine hidden gem. It features hydraulic valve lash adjusters. Unlike almost every other motorcycle on Earth that requires you to pull the engine apart every 15,000 miles to measure and shim the valves manually, the Vulcan 1500 does it automatically using engine oil pressure. You literally never have to adjust the valves, ever. It also hides its liquid cooling radiator between the frame down tubes so effectively that most people think it is AIR cooled. The ergonomics put you in a rolling lounge chair. The suspension is plush and designed to soak up expansion joints without sending shockwaves up your spine. The party trick of looking air-cooled while actually being liquid-cooled means you get the classic aesthetic that cruiser buyers want and the thermal management that long, hot highway days demand. You get the best of both worlds for $2,000. Yes, really. Go look on Facebook Marketplace right now. We will wait. Cruisers are comfortable, sure. But what if we swing completely in the opposite direction to a street fighter named after an era of actual legends? Number 11. Kawasaki ZRX1200R. This is the ultimate retro muscle bike, styled to look exactly like the bike Eddie Lawson rode to victory in the 1980s AMA Superbike Championship, a brute in the best possible sense of the word. Modern buyers ignore it because it runs 4 carburetors and the boxy retro fairing is polarizing. Polarizing is another word for cheap on the used market. The block is a 1,164 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled inline 4, making 122 horsepower and 82 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 545 pounds, It originally retailed at approximately $7,899, and you can pick one up used for $3,500 to $5,000. The engine is a direct descendant of the Ninja ZX11, stripped of ram air and tuned for massive mid-range punch. It uses a braced aluminum swing arm with eccentric chain adjusters, making tightening the chain a 1-minute job rather than an afternoon nightmare. The bottom end of this engine is practically bulletproof, utilizing thick cylinder walls and heavy-duty crank bearings. You sit completely upright, gripping wide tubular handlebars that give you immense leverage to muscle the bike through corners. The seat is thick and heavily padded, surprisingly good long-ride comfort from something that looks like it wants to fight you. The retro styling that scares buyers away is also its greatest asset if you care about what other people think at a stoplight. It looks genuinely menacing. It looks like it was built during an era when motorcycles meant business and did not have a companion app, because it was, and it did not. Speaking of overbuilt engines, our next bike features a complex V4 that Honda originally designed with car-like longevity in mind, and then shoved into a massive touring frame. Number 10. Honda ST1300. When Honda replaced the beloved ST1100, they gave us the ST1300, a technological marvel of touring efficiency, largely ignored on the used market today because it looks a bit like a spaceship from 2002, and the massive amount of plastic bodywork makes buyers terrified of maintenance costs they will not actually encounter. The engine is a 1,261 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled longitudinal V4 producing 125 horsepower and 85 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 716 pounds. The original price was approximately $14,000, and you can land one used for $3,000 to $4,500 today. The engine is mounted longitudinally. The crankshaft runs front to back, parallel to the frame. This allows the drive shaft to connect directly to the transmission without needing a heavy power-robbing 90-degree bevel gear at the engine. Brilliantly efficient. These engines routinely hit 200,000 miles. Not 100,000, 200,000. They are the definition of bulletproof. The ergonomics are endlessly adjustable. The seat moves up and down. The windshield is electrically adjustable. It is heavy at low speeds, but the low center of gravity from the V4 placement makes it shockingly agile once you get moving. Honda's V4 is legendary, but Suzuki did something equally weird in the early 90s, and the result is one of the cheapest big-bore bikes on earth. We are halfway through the list and it only gets better. Subscribe to the channel right now so you never miss a breakdown like this one. Number 9. Suzuki GSX1100G. In the early 90s, Suzuki tried to make a shaft-driven naked cruiser. It was a bizarre mashup of sport bike engine, touring drivetrain, and standard styling. It failed miserably on the showroom floor. Today, it is so rare and forgotten that nobody even searches for it, which makes it one of the cheapest big-bore bikes on earth. The motor is a 1,127 cubic centimeters air and oil-cooled inline-4 making 100 horsepower and 73 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 639 pounds. The original MSRP was approximately $6,999. And right now, the used market is asking just $1,500 to $2,500. Suzuki took the fire-breathing engine from the GSX-R1100, gave it smaller carburetors, a heavier flywheel, and attached it to a maintenance-free shaft drive. Because the engine is so detuned from its superbike origins, it is operating under zero stress. You get superbike internals running at touring bike RPMs. It simply will not break. You sit very upright. The bike feels long and heavy in the parking lot. The pegs are directly below you and the handlebars pull back toward the rider. It feels like piloting a massive locomotive. Slow and deliberate at low speed, surprisingly quick once moving. The rarity factor also works in your favor. Nobody knows what it is. Nobody has a strong opinion about it. You can buy one for $1,500, spend a weekend going through the carburetors, and ride away on a 1,000cc shaft-driven inline-4 that most people will never be able to correctly identify at a bike meet. That is a specific kind of cool that money cannot buy, but apparently $2,000 can. It is heavy, yes. Our next bike is an ADV and tour machine that tall riders absolutely swear by, yet sells for pocket change because it suffers from a severe identity crisis. Number 8. Triumph Tiger 1050. The ADV and tour bike market exploded in the 2010s. Everyone wanted a bike that could cross a desert. Triumph looked at the Tiger 1050 and decided to do the exact opposite. They put 17-inch cast wheels and sticky street tires on an ADV frame. Nobody buys it today. Off-road guys hate the wheels. Street guys think it is an off-road bike. Everybody ignores it, which means you can pick one up for almost nothing. Under the ADV styling is a 1,050 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled inline triple producing 115 horsepower and 74 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 545 pounds. The original sticker was approximately $10,999, and used examples are sitting at $3,000 to $4,500. It shares the exact same 1050 triple engine as the Sprint ST and has proven itself over decades of use. Because it was designed as a street bike, you do not have to worry about the suspension bearings or frame being pulverized by harsh off-road abuse. Keep the oil fresh and the triple will howl forever. If you are over 6 feet tall, this is your bike. Seat height is 32.8 inches. You sit bolt upright with massive legroom and wide dirt bike-style handlebars. You have a commanding view over traffic, and the long travel suspension soaks up every pothole the city has forgotten to fix. If you want true continent-crushing long-distance comfort, though, you might need to look at the German masters of touring who build a bike so reliable it borders on boring. Number 7, BMW R1150R. BMW has been building touring bikes for over a century. The R1150RT is the pinnacle of their oilhead generation. Used buyers are utterly terrified of this bike because of the badge, assuming any repair requires a second mortgage. Because of that fear, they sell for absolutely nothing. The Boxer Twin displaces 1,130 cubic centimeters, is air and oil cooled, and makes 95 horsepower and 74 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 615 pounds. The original price was approximately $15,000 new, and the fear-based used market has them priced at just $2,000 to $3,500. The fear is completely unfounded. The Boxer Twin has its cylinders sticking out horizontally into the wind on both sides. It cools incredibly efficiently. The most fascinating piece of engineering is the telelever front suspension. Instead of traditional forks that dive viciously under heavy braking, BMW uses an A-arm connected to a central shock. You can grab a handful of front brake at 80 miles per hour, and the front end stays perfectly flat. It is a genuinely brilliant engineering solution. Lubricate the drive shaft splines every 20,000 miles, and it will run forever. The fairing was designed in a wind tunnel to punch a hole in the air, so clean you can ride in a rainstorm and barely get wet. Supreme unmatched wind protection at any price. BMWs are great, but what if you want a bike that looks like a laid-back cruiser but accelerates like a terrifying superbike? Honda did exactly that in the 80s. You can still buy them cheap today. Number 6, Honda VF1100C V65 Magna. Back in 1983, the term power cruiser did not exist. Then Honda dropped the V65 Magna, a bike that could run a 10-second quarter mile right out of the crate. Nobody buys them today because the brakes and suspension are pure 1980s technology, which makes them legitimately terrifying in fast corners. That terror is priced into the asking price. It is very low. The engine is a 1,098 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V4, producing 116 horsepower and 71 pound-feet of torque. Wet weight is 585 pounds. The original MSRP was approximately $4,498 back in 1983, and today you can find them used for $1,500 to $3,000. This 90-degree V4 is an absolute monster. Early models had some top-end oiling issues,